welcome to MFL Outdoors, and tonight we're back after that pesky fox again. Third time lucky, hopefully. The weather forecast is actually wrong at the minute. It was meant to be overcast with rain on and off, but no, we've got blue sky. We have got some ominous clouds moving about, mind, so we'll see how we go with that one. And they're also saying that fog could come in later on, which I hope that doesn't happen, because it really does hamper the thermal if it gets really bad, and we just have to call it a night. Anyhow, I'm nearly there, so grab yourself a coffee and see how we get on tonight. I've got some goodies tonight, apart from a Dairy Dunker. Anyhow, more on that later. We've made our way above the duck pond, and we've just settled in on the bank side. We've just kept off the horizon. We've got a tree behind us, which makes a good backdrop so that the fox can't see us so easy. I'm having a scan around, and I can't see anything at the moment, so we've got up early enough, I think. Tonight I'm using the same setup. I'm using the Sako A7 243 in stainless. I'm using Hornady 95 grain SSTs for the ammunition. I'm using the Manbily tripod and also their rifle mount. So we'll just have to wait and see what comes along. All the ducks are around the pond. Some of them are outside the fencing, which is unfortunate, but they'll soon fly back in as it gets dark. The footage you're watching now is of a few nights back, and we're actually after two foxes tonight. This is one of them that you can see now. This is the big one. This one's been around the ponds quite a bit and causing havoc with the partridges. The second one I'm going to show you, which is coming up in a moment, that one on the wall there now, he's a crafty little sod. He actually keeps using the wall line. He's on the wall, and it's as if he knows he can't be shot from there, because just over that wall is a woodland. There's a lot of activity goes on in there, and it's not our wood, so we can't have the bullets passing over that wall. So we can't take any shot at him on that wall, and that seems to be where he stays. But he does venture into the around the ponds occasionally, but he doesn't stay for very long. So these are the two anyhow that we're after tonight. While I was on the back of the truck, this tawny owl came right in towards me. It's the usual resident one. I've filmed him quite a lot, or her, not sure which it is. It's always hunting around on here, but got some really good footage of it this time, and away it goes. Then a little bit later, this Rhodo came across. She did have two youngsters, and we haven't seen them for a while, so whether the foxes have got them I don't know, but she's still around here. You see, she saw that barbed wire, jumped over, and now she's on the top of the wall. She'll be going down onto the grass verge there to have a bit of a chomp on the grass. I'm amazed she hasn't picked us up, because I'm standing right on the back of the truck. She's not that far away from me. It must be just the wind's in the right direction for me anyhow, and yeah, she's having a good old munch along there. It's nice to let people see actually how much wildlife activity there is out there at night, and the thermal shows that perfectly. Okay, back to tonight, and I thought this was our first fox. You can just see coming down the bank, and then I lost it in the heather. Scanned around, and the ducks are back in the pond there, and I just caught a glimpse of it, and it was a badger. I switched over to the rifle scope, and you can quite clearly see that that's a badger now. He's just mooching around. It shows you how high the rushes and heather are, because that badger soon disappears again, and this is the problem that we have with the foxes. One minute you see them, then they're gone again, then they're back. It's really hard to get a shot sometimes. If you look to the left hand side in the background where the arrow's pointing, you'll see a covey of partridge fly up, and then just below that you can just make out a fox, and it actually makes its way down towards the wall and disappears. I'm sure that one will make its way up to us eventually. I just keep scanning around the duck pond and the partridge pens. This is where we seem to be having most activity where we are now, or where I'm scanning now. The ducks are all nicely back on the water, so that's good. And nothing's showing up at the moment. I do scan for quite a while. And then, lo and behold, getting on for 9 o'clock, which seems to be the foxing hour for these lot, we get a fox appears. Right, you can just see this one making its way up through the rushes. It's having a good sniff about there. I think the wind's in our favour though. Yep, it's starting to make its way up. It's just disappeared into the drainage ditch. They love going down there and then coming up by the side of the pond. I've zoomed back out so I can get a wider field of view, and I can keep on the scope and see if I can spot this thing coming up. I'm going to see if I can get it to, or wait for it to come in as near as possible, because I really need to get this one. You can see the top of the fence is blocking me from taking a shot. It's going right across exactly where I need to shoot. The foxes round here are so cautious. You can see it sniffing the air. No, he's decided to go back into the rushes. You can just catch glimpses of it every so often. This is where a thermal scope comes into its own. A night vision scope just wouldn't have picked anything at all up in those rushes. I'm having to wait for this one to come out into the open so I can get a clear shot. The weather conditions are just about perfect for thermal tonight, which is why we're getting such a good picture on the rifle scope. It actually stops by the duck hide and sniffs to see if it can pick up any scent, then carries on through, just making sure there's nobody in there. It started moving away, so I'm going to need to take a shot soon, and I daren't use a caller to try and bring it back because they just bolt. That fox was at about 170 metres, and we've just made our way across the fell now so you can get a look at it. There it is. I've stayed in red mode because there's blood all over the place, and YouTube don't like that. Right, we're making our way back to the vehicles. I'm going to have a break and then continue on, and my friend's had enough and he's heading back home. He is getting on a bit now, but don't tell him I said that. Right, well, it's break time, and I'm fully loaded tonight. Yes, it's Dairy Lee Dunker, cheese rolls, and the creme de la creme, Sour Patch Kids. Oh, what a varied diet. I wonder if this can be classed as one of my 5 a day. Right, I'm going to have this and then we'll get back on with it. I put the Accutac bipod on the rifle, that's on the top of the truck, and I'm on the back to get some height. I'm having another scan round and keeping an eye on that wall just to see if fox turns up on there. I have a feeling that's the one I shot though, so I don't think one's going to turn up, but you never know. And as you can see, these rushes are so thick, it's very hard to spot anything, but we'll persevere. The heat signatures you can see right at the back of cattle, but they're actually some way off. Still a few bats about. I love filming them though. It's interesting to watch them. And this is why the foxes like using the walls. You can see a vole there. It's actually gone off the wall and up onto the tree because the tree's overhanging the wall. So it's probably getting seeds or something off there to eat. Again, it's amazing how these thermals pick up even the smallest thing. Oh, and it looks like he's a way off down into his little hole. There he goes. Scanning across the ridge, and it looks like we've got a fox coming in across the top. I can just see the heat signature. You can just see it coming across there, just off centre. It looks like that big one that I've been after for a while. Obviously it doesn't look like I'm going to have that one tonight. It's actually on a track that's just above one of our partridge pens. You can just see the partridge pen to the far right of the screen. The roof of it's just above the rushes. I look round behind me and there's a fox sitting on the roadside. He's not on our land, he's actually, there's a small country lane or road goes along there, and he's sitting on the grass verge. He's just moving along there now. They often follow the verges and they pick up any rats or mice that are around in the shorter grass. Anyhow, this one doesn't come across onto our land, so it's not my concern. And it's on a public highway anyhow. It keeps stopping and looking across onto our fell, and then sometimes it sits down and just studies the area for a while. I have a feeling it wants to be across onto here, but it knows that big dog fox is about, and has decided not to bother coming across it. I don't blame it actually. This one looks like a youngster. This one continues to follow the road and disappears off into the distance. Okay, well, I've had to cut this one short. It's now, let's have a look, 12:10, and again we've got a thick pea soup has come in fog, and it's just come in within literally minutes and I can't see 10 feet in front of me. So it's just one of the things of being up here on the fells. I just saw a fox sort of 10 minutes ago go walking along the roadside. There's a little country road goes along the bottom where the truck was parked, and he's just merrily walked along there. He didn't come in. I waited to see if he was going to come over the wall and come into our bit, but he didn't. He carried on up the road, so hopefully he's just a wanderer and he's gone. Right, well, I'm going to head home now. So all that's left for me to say is thanks very much for watching. We got one this time. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye for now. Right, so as usual I'll be using the Sako A7 in 243. That's a stainless version. I'll be using the DPT moderator. What else? 40. Start again.